Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back, I'm not going anywhere. Beast! Peekaboo, I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Available summer 2025, the album Dad. Shimmy, shimmy, ass. Rock on, gold dust woman. Players only love you when they're playing. I went to a party last Saturday night. You know what I would love to see? I would love to see a Lita Ford, Stevie Nicks duet. Has that happened already? I love Lita Ford. Kiss Me Deadly was one of my favorite songs in high school and is still one of my favorite songs to this day. I love that song, Kiss Me Deadly by Lita Ford so much. And of course, I loved Cherry Bomb back in the day. But, by the Runaways, which Lita Ford was in. But has there been a Lita Ford, Stevie Nicks crossover? I guess I could Google search it. Oh my God, I love the Google so much. Did y'all know on the Google? No, truly, you can't. Did you know? True story. You can Google any question and it'll give you an answer on the Google. Oh my God. I mean, like, for a lot of people out there, they're like, yeah, you didn't know that. But like, I didn't grow up with that, okay? We didn't grow up with the Google. We didn't grow up with cell phones or computers. I can still remember that noise that the computer made back in the day. Like, people think that that's vintage now, okay? That's my youth. It's like, that's computers, okay? Like, I don't even know what they were doing, but they were, what they tried to get on the AOL, you could talk to people, things like that. That was like, I mean, that was way after, okay? I can remember when I was like in junior high, I don't even think in elementary school we had computer labs. I think it was junior high or high school. I think it was high school when I first had a computer lab in school. And the computer lab had like 2 computers when I was in high school. That, true story. No, true story, it did. So we didn't have the Google back then. Oh my God, I wish I did. I would have spent my entire life, listen, the kids are on the Tik Tok and all these things today. I would have spent my entire life like Googling like, do snakes poop? Which I did Google, and did you know that they do poop? I found that out. Because I talked about that in a video like 2 years ago, and people were like, snakes poop, you didn't know that? And I was like, oh, I have to find out, do snakes poop? And so I Googled it, do snakes poop? There's whole pictures up and stuff. Pictures! Photographic evidence online of snakes pooping. So anyway, actually, before I get in this video, let's look on here really quick and just see. Lita Ford, is that, I mean, when I say that in a video, people will be like, did you not know they did the most famous duet? But probably some duet that I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I forgot all about that. Lita Ford, do they even like each other? I don't even know. Stevie Nicks, let's see. Are they even friends? Have they ever even met? Let's see. Is there any picture? Oh, here's a, wait, Stevie Nicks, New England. Stevie Nicks, Lita Ford. It's like, okay. Eyes Forever, My Heart Around. Oh, I guess Lita Ford and Stevie Nicks. Close My Eyes Forever is a duet by Lita Ford and Ozzy Osbourne. Okay. Is Stevie Nicks the only female rocker who has truly stood the test of time? Seriously, can we talk about Cher for a second? Cher! People kind of forget that Cher was a rocker back in the day. Did y'all hear that song, Jesse James? Oh my God. Feel like Jesse James. Anyway. So today's video is going to be, so once a week, like on Instagram, I put out like if you guys want to be part of one of my videos, okay? If you want like a cameo, not like to buy a cameo, you can do that too. I've been doing something, I don't know why, July has been a hot month for the cameo, okay? People have been buying cameos like crazy. Little personal messages from me, you can buy those in the comment section below. But anyway, no, if you want to make a cameo appearance in one of my videos, you have to follow me on Instagram, because in my stories, like I put up it'll be like 3 o'clock in the morning and I'll be watching like Sister Wives or something, and I'll be like, oh, I should do a video tomorrow about unpopular opinions about this, right? And so I got my chapstick like this. Do you ever do this? Like you're just talking like with a pen, with your lipstick or your lip gloss or whatever. So anyway, I'll be like 3 o'clock in the morning and I'll be like, oh, I should do a video tomorrow about unpopular opinions about this or whatever. So then I'll put a question up in the Instagram and then I read the questions. That's what I do, right? Hold on a second, please. So this is Treat Beauty. It's the marshmallow cream. I love it so much. I keep it right next to my computer. This is the one I use while I'm working, if you want to call it work. But anyway, like Michaela Nagara, I work so hard. Sometimes I have to work past 5 o'clock. Oh my God, Michaela, 5 o'clock. I got friends of mine that are working second and third shift. They don't even start their jobs till like 11 o'clock at night. Give me a break, Michaela Nagara. Anyway, so once a week I put out something like, usually once a week, like what are topics you guys want me to talk about this week? And then I kind of get an idea of what people want me to talk about on this channel. It's usually, if I'm not getting video ideas from receipts that people are sending me, so if you guys want to figure out like how I come up with video ideas, I think that there's, by, let's say, 2% of people out there that think that I have a vendetta against these people, that I'm like digging in and looking at stuff. That's just not how it is, okay? First of all, I have too many things to do, okay? Like making plans to go to the pool with my neighbor and her best friend. That just happened in my review video. So if you want to see that interchange, go watch my review video of a Tabitha Brown salad that I bought from Target today. Okay, that's my review video today. So I'm too busy making plans to go to the pool, and I got 2 true crime books to listen to because we've got our live stream on Sunday. And so I'm listening to the case of Lori Vallow right now, which I've already watched a documentary about that, but the book is called When the Moon Turned to Blood or something like that. I'm listening to that right now. I got too many things to do, okay, to be digging into these people. I just don't care that deeply anymore, if you want to know the truth. So the way that I usually find a video idea is, like, if people, like, if I get like one receipt about something and somebody's like, oh, you need to look into this, usually one receipt won't do it. I'll just kind of like store it in the back of my mind and be like, whatever. But if like 4, 5, 6 people to like 30 or 40 people send it to me, then I'm like, okay, this is a hot topic. People want me to talk about it. That's how I pick the topics that I talk about over here. The other way that I do it is I'll put out things and I'll say, what do you guys want me to talk about? And if I get 2 or 3 people, let's say out of 300 or 400, 600 responses, if I get 2 or 3 people that say kind of the same thing, I'll be like, oh, this is a topic that now people know, they know the math. I don't. I ain't got my glasses on and I can't do math. But now that they know the math, they're going to be making fake accounts. And they're going to be like trying to trick the system and going in on different accounts and trying to ask me to talk about things I don't want to talk about. Sometimes I kind of feel like it's a trap because people will ask me to talk about things and I'm like, I have never heard of this person. Is this person problematic? Like, I don't even want to say their name in a video because I'm like, I have never in my life ever heard of this person. Like, is it, you know, am I saying something I shouldn't be saying? I don't know, right? So those are the 2 ways that I usually do videos. Or, I mean, like, sometimes I'll just see, like, a topic come up and I'll be like, oh, this is interesting. I mean, I used to back in the day, like, I would get up every single day and I'd look through, like, all their Instagrams, Twitter. I don't do any of that. Girl, I don't. I'm sorry, okay? I mean, I look through to see what Thumbelina the Squirrel is doing. Speaking of Thumbelina the Squirrel got so much attention on my Toddy Westbrook video, okay? You want to know how Toddy Westbrook is irrelevant? I'll tell you how she's irrelevant. Because I was talking about problematic people on my last video that I did about Toddy Westbrook and Jaclyn Hill non-disclosing affiliate links, again. And I was talking about people being problematic, and I was like, if Thumbelina the Squirrel, who I absolutely adore, I was like, if I should have worn my Thumbelina shirt today. Oh my God, that would have been a perfect situation to wear my Thumbelina shirt. So I was like, if Thumbelina was problematic, like if I found out that Thumbelina the Squirrel, she was doing, like, she was eating the wrong kind of nuts or something like that, or eating stale avocados. No, Thumbelina. Because she loves avocados so much. But, you know, then I would have to unfollow Thumbelina, not support her anymore, and, you know, things like that. And I would have to, you know, not support me. I wouldn't buy her merch anymore and things like that, right? So I just have to tell you what is so funny is I got all these comments about Thumbelina the Squirrel on my video yesterday. Somebody said, imagine if Thumbelina was lying about being a squirrel. I love this. Somebody commented, she's really a chipmunk. Somebody said, she's so cute. Somebody else said, immediately I said, Thumbelina would never! And then it says, somebody else said, I'm imagining Thumbelina's Amazon Prime list, just checked, and there's a surprising amount of squirrel-related stuff, including socks, a variety of squirrel feeders, and a solar lantern. People are going on and on about this. But so many people actually said stuff about Thumbelina the Squirrel. And so I was trying to talk to my cousin Caroline about it today, because today was Cousin Fun Day, which is where my cousin picks me up. Today we really had, like, nothing to do. Like, get coffee and go to the post office. So we just kind of ran around to different places. She was buying a dress for a bridal shower that she's going to. So we went to Nordstrom Rack, TJ, and we went to Marshall. She ended up getting, they had real cute dresses at Marshall. She got a really cute dress for like $25.99. So anyway, but we were running around, we were just telling stories and stuff like that in the car, and I, you know, always try to bring up Thumbelina, but she just won't let me. My cousin is a Thumbelina hater, and truly she is. She said Thumbelina is boring. Okay, that is what my cousin told me months ago. And you know what she said? She said she is boring because I follow Peaches. Do y'all know about Miss Peaches? Okay, Miss Peaches is this rescue dog. Now, I don't follow Miss Peaches because I feel like if Caroline's gonna follow her, then, you know, I gotta support my cousin, right? You know, she's like my sister. We're 3 years apart. We're only children, both of us, so we're kind of like brother-sister. So I was like, okay, I'll follow Miss Peaches. Because Caroline was like, does Thumbelina have her own evening gown? Because Miss Peaches has her own evening gown. I mean, listen, Caroline and I never fight. But I truly do believe that the debate over Miss Thumbelina and Miss Peaches is going to be the end of our relationship. No, truly, I think it is. And Caroline and I were in the car today, and we were driving, and she was driving me home, and I was like, okay, so, like, Caroline, about this video, because we're talking about doing this video idea about like finding out the history of like our grandma going to prison. We think it's now, instead of 2 times, we think she went to prison 3 times, and our mother's being in foster care. I did a whole video about that. People are like, what? I've never heard this before. I have said in so many videos, okay, after my mom passed away, I found out that my grandma, my mom's mom, had gone to prison, okay? Then we found out it was 2 times through Caroline's other cousin. Then we found out, I think it's 3 times now. And then our mothers were in foster care systems. There's like a alleged twin brother that my mother might have had, blah, blah, blah. So there's all this stuff that we wanted to turn it into like a podcast, but now we kind of don't really want to do that. Caroline was like, I think we should go to the places and we should like record it like as we're doing it and make video series out of it. And so today she was like, when are we doing that video series about grandma? And I was like, well, we said we weren't going to do it till 2025. And we're like driving by, and I was like, what things would we talk about? And she's like, I don't really, she's like, the only things I remember about grandma are that she played bridge and that she drank coffee and she smoked Salem Lights one after another. And I was like, Caroline, my cousin does not have any memories between like 2015, probably that, before she was like 15 years old. I'll ask her stuff about when we were kids and she's like, I totally don't remember that at all. How do you remember that? I'm like, do you remember anything? I said, Caroline, I said, you like woke up at 15 years old and came out of a marijuana phase, okay? Or marijuana fog of haze. And you were like, oh my God, I'm popular. Because she was. She was like one of the mean, and she wasn't a mean girl, but she was like in that group. And she was like the top 4 popular girls in high school, right? She always plays it down and she acts like she wasn't. She's always like, no, I wasn't. I don't care about that shit and all this kind of stuff. She truly doesn't care about that stuff. But when I said that to her, I said, you like woke up at 15 years old, like in a marijuana fog, and all of a sudden we're just like, what just happened the last 15 years? She started laughing because she knew it was the straight up truth because my cousin was a stoner popular girl. And so anyway, so I said to her, I said, we were telling the story because at our wedding, okay, we have a mutual friend that went to high school with Caroline and was in her graduating class and stuff like that. My cousin was in a sorority when she was in high school. It was called Dolls. Are you getting the full picture now? Okay. I was not, okay? I was not popular. I was not in Dolls. I was probably in a fog of marijuana, though, smoke. I probably was that. But anyway, so we were all laying out by the pool at the Cosmopolitan before we got married, and this friend of ours was with me and Caroline and stuff. We were all like hanging out. And she was like, oh my God, Caroline, you were so popular in high school. Caroline, she cannot stand to even talk about high school. And she was like, no, I wasn't. I really wasn't, whatever. Caroline was like the girl, like they're all the popular pretty girls. She was like the 4th girl that was like smoking weed behind like the football field. I know when she watches this, she's going to be like, oh my God, Peter, but she doesn't really care. And she was like the one that was like smoking weed and cigarettes with the guys behind the football field. And she was like, she was the wild child one, you know. I can still see her. She always had on like these like skin tight jeans that were like tight rolled up with like these Reebok high tops. And then she always had like a sweatshirt. It was very flash dance, like over one shoulder. That was my cousin. And of course she had like the feathered hair back and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, she was hot. So I always wanted to be my cousin Caroline so bad. But anyway, so this friend of ours was like, no, Caroline, like you were so popular, like you were in Dolls. And she was like, yeah, whatever, it was no big deal. And she keeps on going on about Dolls, this sorority that she was in. Do high schools even have sororities anymore? So anyway, Caroline, she was like, yeah, you were in Dolls. And she kept on saying stuff. And she goes, and Caroline's just like laying there in the sun. And she goes, I mean, Caroline, you were secretary of Dolls. And Caroline goes, I was president of Dolls. And like she was gonna lose her mind. But anyway, Caroline and I were talking about this video series that we're gonna do with about our grandma today. And we're like driving down the road and she's like, I don't know. She's like, grandma had such a horrible life. And she was like, and our moms were so poor, but they like acted like they were so rich. Oh my God, that McDonald's closed. Where am I gonna get my quarter pounder with cheese? I go, Caroline, this is why we can't do this video series. She goes, what is wrong with you? Why are you yelling at me? I go, Caroline, this is why we can't do, because I'm gonna be interviewing you and you're gonna be like, oh my God, grandma had such a horrible life. Where am I gonna get my McFlurry? I said, we can't do this video series anymore. She started laughing like crazy. She's like, no, you know what? That's what will make it perfection. She goes, people will live for it. She goes, because we're back and forth. I go, yeah, but we're going to have to talk about grandma. And, you know, she goes, yeah, we can tell all these funny stories about how horrible our moms were. I go, our mothers were not horrible. And she goes, speak for yourself. She goes, see, this is the kind of stuff that people will live for on video. I was like, I don't know. Do you guys think they will? So anyway, well, I guess you guys are they. Would you guys live for that? Okay, so Caroline and I, we're aiming at like maybe, because it's pool season, okay? So we're not doing research in government offices and when we can be at the pool. Okay, that's just the truth. Like, I want to know the history and the facts, but not until the pool closes. Okay, I don't care that deeply, okay? Like, I need to go to the pool first. This video has turned into something I never thought it was going to be. So anyway, I wanted to just read through these topics today. that people sent me. I screenshot like I think like half of them. Yeah, I didn't screenshot all of them because a lot of them were repeats of things that people want me to talk about from the past and blah, 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 whatever. So I'm just gonna kind of like read the topic and then I'll give you like my 2-second opinion on it or why I'm gonna cover it or why I'm not gonna cover it. And then you guys in the comment section below, please put any, look at this, can we just talk about this? Oh my God, she's beautiful, isn't she? Amazon, $29.99, beautiful. I have a pink one too. So anyway, but I need some coffee. So I thought I would just read through these topics that you guys asked me to talk about. These are like the hot drama topics I guess everybody wants me to talk about. Also, peas and carrots. Also, please put, if you want to see my new sneakers, oh my God, I've been doing like a haul every single day on my Peter Does Stuff channel. No, there's no links over there, okay? I don't link that shit. I should. People all the time are like, you should link this stuff. Yesterday, I called my video Amazon Prime Day haul. And I showed all the stuff that I got on Amazon. Stuff that I like, actually things that I really did buy. But I didn't link anything. People can go search it out on Amazon if they want to buy it themselves and stuff like that. But I should link that stuff, shouldn't I? But I buy stuff from Amazon. I gotta stay off the Amazon, truly. It is, it's bad. Anyway, okay. So the first thing somebody said is the situation between Tana Mongeau and Cody Co. It's not very lighthearted, but very important. Okay, so I actually got asked to cover this by a lot of people, okay? A lot of people were asking me to talk about this whole situation. So if you don't know what this is about, these are allegations that Tana Mongeau has come out and made, and Tana Mongeau has alleged that Cody Co, who is also an influencer, I believe he's like mid to late 30s or something like that. At the time that she was like 17, I think he was 25, and they were at Playlist Live, and allegedly she's come out and said that she kissed him, and I think that other people or her have come out and said that they were intimate and had sex or something. Allegedly, Gabby Hanna was trying to, at the time, sell the story to The Insider or something like that. I don't know anything about it. I haven't looked into it. I saw a clip from D'Angelo Wallace where he came out and said that, so this is the situation, okay, for a couple reasons. I covered the Colleen Ballinger situation last summer so heavily, and then in talking about James Charles so heavily, that I don't know that I really, like, I don't know that I can, it's really dark to cover that stuff, and when you start looking into it and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like if I'm gonna do it, I wanna do like maybe a video and then update as things happen. But I'm not somebody that does deep dives. I don't do tons and tons. So I will watch this stuff and tell you guys what I think. I already have kind of formed a little bit of opinion based on what I watched. You know, it was interesting. I watched the clip from D'Angelo Wallace. I haven't watched his entire video. I'm somebody that has appreciated D'Angelo Wallace's work in the past. If you don't know, D'Angelo Wallace is a commentary channel that is on a huge level. It's interesting to me because he said that the reason why, part of what he said was that the reason why this story isn't getting a lot of traction is because that only smaller commentary channels have covered it and not bigger commentary channels have covered it. Well, I thank you, D'Angelo Wallace, as a bigger commentary channel for finally coming out and covering it. I went back and looked in your videos. You didn't cover anything about Colleen Ballinger in the last year, not one thing. So I guess bigger commentary channels get to pick and choose what's important to cover and what's not important to cover, and smaller commentary channels like ourselves, that, I don't know, we just take the scraps. No, we talk about the things that we think are important to talk about, okay? And then he came out and said something about, I guess, Ethan Klein's response to this, all this kind of stuff. But what's really interesting is that D'Angelo Wallace made, and I think this is kind of the common rhetoric right now about this whole situation with Tana Mongeau, and that people aren't delving into the story or talking more about this story. And he says in there, because Tana Mongeau isn't a likable influencer, okay? And that Cody Co is a very likable influencer, and so that everybody kind of like on Cody Co's side, Cody Co's camp, is like doing anything they possibly can to like make sure the story doesn't get out there, that comments are being deleted off of threads, and that the story is being really, really pushed down there. Now, I do believe that this is probably very, very true. I'm not going to get into the allegations so much today because I want to look more into that. And D'Angelo Wallace is something that's absolutely true. He's like, I can't speak to the lawfulness of the situation because that's the victim has to come out and talk about this. But I have a little bit of a different take on it. I do think that part of the reason why the story isn't getting huge traction is because Tana Mongeau is seen a certain way. I don't know that it's necessarily that she's unlikable. There's a lot of people that like Tana Mongeau. Tana Mongeau has a huge following, okay? You don't get a huge following like that from having people always hate you. Yes, there's a lot of people that people don't like, but even like people like Amberlynn Reed that has a huge amount of people that are hate watchers, she also has a huge amount of supporters as well. And so Tana Mongeau has a lot of support, a lot of people that really, really love Tana Mongeau, a lot of people in the industry that really love Tana Mongeau, right? So I'm not necessarily under the belief that she is really unlikable. I want to share a story about, speaking about my mom, and I've shared this on other videos, so this is nothing new. My mom was somebody that developed very, very early, and when she was, I think she said she was like 12 or 13, she was changing in her bedroom one night after, like she was getting ready to go to bed, and she saw two boys looking in her window. This would have been, my mom graduated in high school in 1961, so this would have been in the mid-50s sometime, okay? Now we're talking about, it's now 70 years later, okay? So my mom would have been, you know, 12 or 13, this is in the mid-50s at the time. My mom was born in 43, so if she were 12, it would have been, you know, 43, no, she was born 43, so it would have been 53, 55. This would have been 55 to 56. So we're now, what is that, 70 years later? And, you know, my mom, she saw these boys looking out, so she screamed, and my mom's stepfather came inside. And he went outside and ran them off with a shotgun and things like that, and he called the police. I've shared this story a lot, okay? And when the police came and they questioned my mom about these two boys looking in through her window, the questions they asked my mom weren't questions like, who were these boys? What did they do? Do you know their names? Things like that. The questions they asked my mom were like, do you wear tight sweaters to school to entice the boys? What clothing do you wear? Can you show us your clothing so we can see if it's tight clothing that to entice boys, okay? And so basically what they were saying was that my mom was drawing this attention and that she deserved to have two boys looking in her window. It was something that my mom carried with her through her entire life. She felt like men were constantly looking at her breasts. And after she got sober at 51 years old, she finally, after doing some therapeutic work and things like that, was able to start letting that stuff go. And she would like wear a lot of V-neck t-shirts, and she'd like be like, if men want to look at my cleavage, look at my cleavage. I could care less, right? But I can remember my mom would talk to me about the fact that the reason why the police didn't believe her was because she wasn't the perfect victim, okay? And what she would say about that later was like, women in society are not perfect victims, okay? And what we mean by that is that if it doesn't fit a certain kind of mold, right, then the story is less believable. Or we still live in this mentality, even 70 years later, that if you dress a certain way, I don't believe this at all, obviously. I want to make that very, very clear. This is the sentiment of a lot of the world today, okay? That if you dress a certain way, if you dress provocatively, if you bring attention to yourself, if you post certain pictures on Instagram, okay? If you're acting a certain way, if you're hitting on somebody, if you're saying certain things, then you deserve that, right? Or you're asking for it. As much as we want to say that those times don't exist, because I think a lot of the people that watch my videos are very open-minded and educated people that have their own thoughts, the reality is we still live in that world today, okay? And Tana Mongeau is somebody that from a very young age, okay, dressed provocatively and things like that. If she didn't, I think the story would be taken a little bit more seriously. If Tana Mongeau hadn't shared all these stories about having stalkers and this and blah, 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 whatever, and I think that's some horrific shit, okay? That we want what looks like a perfect victim, okay? If Tana Mongeau was somebody that was talking about saving her virginity until she was married, and that she was doing, I don't know, you know, DIYs of slime when she was 17 years old, and the same situation happened, it would be a completely different story. It's not that Tana Mongeau is unlikable. That has nothing to do with it. It has to do with the public's perception of who Tana Mongeau is as a woman, and that's some horrific shit in our world today, that women are perceived that way, okay? That my mother in 1955 or 1956, okay, was perceived as deserving having two boys come in and look through her window, a far less thing than what Tana Mongeau is suggesting or alleging, okay? And that my mother deserved that by the clothes that she was wearing to school. It's the same thing 70 years later, and as much as we want to say we don't live in that society, the reality is that many of us do not live under that belief system in the society, but many people do. Many people still do, right? And so it's not so much that major news sources aren't covering this story. Yes, that would get the word out. It's not so much that bigger commentary channels aren't covering it, and thank God for D'Angelo Wallace for stepping in and doing our job for us, right? And in that smaller commentary channels aren't talking about us. Smaller commentary channels have been carrying the story of Colleen Ballinger and James Charles for the last 3 years, okay? So I'm I'm grateful that these bigger commentary channels exist, maybe do the harder work, okay? So that we don't have to have all of our personal information doxed and looked into on a regular basis and all that kind of stuff, all because we believe in the victims, all right? And I believe, based on what Tana Mongeau is saying, that she, yes, of course, is a victim. And I feel horrible for her, right? And she doesn't deserve any of this. Nobody deserves any of this. But that's the reality of the situation that we live in. And I can tell you right now, the first person that knows that is Tana fucking Mongeau. She knows that, you know? And people, I think, expect me to get in a video because I have talked shit about Tana Mongeau because I haven't, you know, thought she was a good role model through the years or whatever. But that by no way means that I am implying in any way whatsoever that she deserves any of that. That's bullshit, okay? That we want today in our society a victim to look perfect, or they deserve it otherwise. And that is bullshit, and we have to get away from that, okay? Tana Mongeau is a woman that has made these allegations of harmful acts, and now she's come out and said things about Jason Nash, right? But people don't take Tana Mongeau seriously. It's not because Tana Mongeau is not likable. It's because Tana Mongeau has been provocative and showing provocative pictures, and she's wild, and she's partying, right? And so those type of girls deserve that. This has been something that has been going on, like I proved to you, since 1956. Because my mother was the wild girl. She was the party girl, okay? And so she deserved that. And here we are in 2024, and Tana Mongeau deserves this, is what people think. They won't come out and say it, but that's the reality. It's not that Tana Mongeau isn't likable. It's not that Tana Mongeau, you know, that Cody Co is pushing down this story, which he probably is. You know, I hope that bigger commentary channels do cover it. I hope big news sources do pick this up. You know, I think it's interesting that last year that Colleen Ballinger, who nobody could believe that this would happen to, that story picked up rampantly, right? And now the tables are turned, and it's Tana Mongeau, okay? Well, let's look at what our perception of was 2 years ago of Tana Mongeau versus Colleen Ballinger, right? Of what you immediately think of Tana Mongeau. You know, what your image of her was. And you know, and where she, what happened to her, right? And that nobody's talking about this, and Rolling Stone's not doing articles about this and picking this up. It's crazy to me. It makes me sad for Tana Mongeau. It really does. You know? And people want to say, well, why is she only bringing it now? You have no right to tell a victim when they decide to come out with their story at all. That is not your right to tell. There's no time limit on somebody's paying to come out and tell their story. That's actually further abusing the victim when you say that to them, right? And so I think it's bullshit that people want to say this. Now, I see people saying, now that she's not relevant, she's coming out with this story. I mean, that is some really hurtful shit to say, you know? And again, I will say this. If this was your daughter, if this was your niece, if this was your granddaughter, I hope that you wouldn't say things like, oh, you're just looking for attention right now, or you're just looking for this. But yet we've said those things to women for hundreds of years, right? That's the thing. So it's sad to me, right? Like, this is the sentiment of the story. If you guys want me to cover it, I'll cover it. But I've got to look into it a little bit further, you know? Tana Mongeau wants to talk to me. I would talk to Tana Mongeau about it. I would do an interview with Tana Mongeau. I know she doesn't want to do that interview with me, but I hope she does it with somebody. I've seen her talk about it on podcasts. I've seen the clips and things like that. I hope she does a full-on sit-down interview with somebody, you know? I think it's important to talk about these things. And all of her experiences with this, you know? I think the thing is that it's interesting to me that people like doubt these kinds of things, you know? I mean, we've seen these kind of things happen with men and women in the industry, and yet it's like we want to doubt it when it's somebody like Tana Mongeau. No. That's not how it works, right? Because she doesn't look perfect. What does that imply then? Because she doesn't look a certain way? Because she doesn't present a certain way? Because she smokes pot, or she used to? Because she used to party? Well, she's sober now, supposedly, right? Okay, so maybe that's why she's coming out with her story now. Maybe she's got some clarity of mind. Maybe it's time for her to get some things off of her chest. She has a right to do that, you know? I don't know. It's like we live in this world where people are like, you don't doubt the victims, and the victims are constantly being doubted. I don't know. It's sad to me, you know? And it's sad to me that, you know, I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, but this is only the first topic that people want me to talk about. Where am I at on the video? Oh, it's going to stop in about a minute. Hold on a second. I did not think this was going to be a long video today. Somebody said, Trixie Mattel taking a 3-month break and the importance of mental health. I have not watched the video yet. I actually was vlogging last night, and I had my computer screen in front of me. Was it last night or the night before? I can't remember. But anyway, the thumbnail is like this. It looks very much like the Jeffree Star apology. I actually even said that on my vlog. I will watch the Trixie Mattel video because people have asked me to cover it. I'm not a huge fan of Trixie Mattel, if you want to know the truth. I like Trixie Mattel. She's okay. I think that Trixie supports some problematic people. I think that taking a break from mental health is always important, and you should always put yourself first. I'm a believer, and I've said this for a long time. When I got out of treatment, my coin said on the back of my coin of getting out of treatment, you must first be a value to yourself before you can be a value to other people. You cannot help other people, or be there for other people, or take care of other people, or be a support system or a role model for other people if you're not taking care of yourself. For that reason alone, I think that you have to. And I think that we need to destigmatize mental health treatment in this country. Is why I talk about OCD so much on my channels. It's why I talk about marriage counseling. It's why I talk about individual counseling and things like that, right? Like, I think it's so important to destigmatize that stuff and talk about it. The reality is, and I don't know about other countries, but in the United States, mental health treatment is extremely expensive, okay? It's not affordable and it's not easily accessible. We've got to change those things. You know, we've got to start looking at those things and talking about those things more so that it's more easily accessible, you know, for people, that people are getting the correct mental health treatment and things are sought out. So I 100% support anybody that needs to take a mental health break. Of course, always. Cody Cody and Tana Mongeau allegations. Cody Cody and Tana Mongeau situation. Okay, somebody said something about Adam McIntyre, Rosanna Pansino. I don't know anything about that. Cody Cody. Oh, questions about my mom. I don't know anything about the Brooke or Clinton or whatever that. I don't know anything about that. I know that Dustin Daly did a video about it. I started to watch it the other night, and then I got a phone call, so I didn't finish watching it, so I'm going to watch that. I don't know anything about that whole story that's blown up over on the TikToks and places like that. She was a friend of, I don't know anything. I don't even know to talk about it. I don't know those people. I don't know them, okay? I don't know. It's why I need to shut my mouth, because I'll say something. I don't know anything about it, okay? So anyway, Brooke Schofield and Clinton Kane. I don't, is that who they are? I don't know anything about that whatsoever. I mean, somebody asked me something on here about somebody's wedding, and I was like, I don't know about this. The only wedding that I know is Olivia Culpo, because, should I show this picture in here? Well, I don't know. I try to keep her anonymous. So my mom's best friend her entire life is who I call my Aunt Susie, that lives in Colorado. Susie is really good friends with, I don't even know his name. He's a football player. Olivia Culpo. I didn't even know who Olivia Culpo was, okay? Have I told this story on here? I think I told it on my vlog. I didn't even know who Olivia Culpo was, which is so weird because I follow pageants so closely. So my mom's friend, she was her sorority sister, has been her friend her entire life. She's like an aunt to me. She calls herself Mother Susie to me. So Susie was visiting probably a year ago, and we went to brunch. And she was like, so you make videos? And she was like asking what I mean, she gets it. She's seen a couple of my videos and stuff. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, well, do you know a lot of other people that do what you do? And I was like, Susie, there's like tons of us. And she was like, but you know people that like do what you do? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, do you know Olivia Culpo? I have no idea how I didn't know who that was, right? And I was like, no. And she's like, well, she's kind of like, you call yourself an influencer. I said, Susie, I hate that word. I think it's so phony. And she was like, well, she's an influencer like you. And I'm surprised you guys don't know each other because you guys kind of do the same thing. And I was like, no. And she's like, and she was Miss USA and she was Miss Universe. I go, oh, well, I would have known her from that. I don't know how I didn't know her. And so she shows me a picture, and it's Susie and her together standing there, right? And so I was like, I know who she is now. And she's like, yeah, she's like a beauty lifestyle vlogger, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I thought maybe you guys had like crossed paths. Okay. I don't think Susie truly understood on the level of what Olivia Culpo is, okay? So then she calls me and she's like, oh yeah, I'm going to the Super Bowl and stuff like that. I'm like, how are you going to the Super Bowl? She's like, well, Olivia, the reason she knows Olivia Culpo's assistant, and then the way that she also knows it is because her friend is like friends or something with, her whole family's friends with his family and her family. And so she's sending pictures the other week. So anyway, I'm telling my husband Alex this story, and Alex is like, his friend, his girlfriend that went on the trip to Mexico with us is like obsessed with Olivia Culpo. And so he was like, oh my God, she loves her so much. And I go, oh, well, Susie sent me all these pictures of her and Olivia together. And so I sent them to his friend. She goes, oh my God, I'm so jealous. So anyway, Susie was sending me these pictures of like her whole family. And Susie couldn't go to the wedding, but like her whole family at Olivia Culpo's wedding, and I showed them on my vlog. So anyway, I thought that was kind of like a weird crossover though, don't you think? And that I didn't know who Olivia. People think, oh my God, I'm doing this video. Oh my God, this is gonna be so good. So my neighbor next door just turned 30, she's 32, 31 or 32, and her best friend is, she's 31 and her best friend's 33. So we were at the pool the other day, and they watch a lot of TikToks and online stuff, right? And so she was like, who did you make your video about today? And I think it was, I don't even remember, it was Monday, and I said, oh, I wasn't making a video today, but I was telling about the stuff that was going on and whatever. And I was like, do you know who so-and-so is? I think Robbie DeChristie or something like that. And they're like, no, we've never heard of her. Now, these are both girls that like love makeup and all this kind of stuff. And I said, they're 31 and 33, okay? And I said, do you know what? Because they're always begging me to do videos. And I said, we could do a video together. And what we could do is I could ask my audience. I'll do it. This will be something I put on my Instagram. That I'm going to do a video with the two of you. We can sit down. She's got gorgeous plants over there. So we'll sit down in front of the plants and film it. And I will just pull out of a hat different names that people have sent me to ask if you know them or not. And they're like, oh, that would be so funny. Because I was like, do you guys know who, I think I said Tana Mongeau. I think I asked about that. Yeah, I did. And they were like, no, I've never heard of Tana Mongeau. Because I was talking about the Playlist Live situation. That just like, this stuff was like, people were flooding me with this stuff. I said, okay, they're like, who else do you talk about? I said, do you know who Mr. Beast is? No, didn't know Mr. Beast. Do you know, I try to act like big ones. Shane Dawson, no clue, neither one of them. Shane Dawson was the last person I asked. Jeffree Star, none of them knew. PewDiePie, none of them knew. I went through like 10 names. When I said Shane Dawson, my neighbor was like, oh, the only reason I know Shane is because he used to be in videos with Trisha Paytas, and I used to love her videos back in the day. But she's the only YouTuber that I've ever followed. And it's so interesting because when I ask people, you want to talk about like people like have such issues with Trisha Paytas and whatever but her poll. When I ask people, okay, anybody out in public, like a lot of people know Trisha Paytas from like celebrity TV, reality TV, news stories, Howard Stern, things like that. But they don't know any of these other people. Everybody lives online. They think that people know these people. People do not know these people at all. So anyway, okay, let's get back to some of these questions. Cody Co allegations, advice on letting go of a toxic friend. Watch my Peterisms videos. I do videos like probably 2 to 3 times a week about toxicity over there. How to help someone get help for an addiction. I actually just did that video over my Peterisms channel. Cody Co and Tana, Brooke and Clinton. I don't know anything about that case. Cody Co allegations, Brooke Schofield, Shannon Doherty. I think it's so sad. I mean, it's so weird. Like, I was actually just talking to my cousin about this today. It's so bizarre when your contemporaries start passing away, you know, that people that are your own age. And I think it was within like 24 hours that Richard Simmons, I can't think of her name. Oh my God. From The Shining and Popeye. I love the movie Popeye. Duvall. Duvall. What is going on? Okay. And, Shannon Doherty all died within 24 hours. Why can't I not think of Shelley Duvall? Shelley Duvall, Richard Simmons, and they were all part of my childhood. Like, Shelley Duvall was a huge part of my childhood. If you've never seen the movie Popeye, it was like one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. Because I love Popeye the cartoon. And there was like, they actually made like a town where, it was like, I think it was in like Norway or something where they filmed that. But I loved that movie, and she played, what was Popeye's wife? Why can't I think of her name? Spinach? Something like that. But anyway, she played Popeye's wife. She was also fantastic in The Shining. Shelley Duvall was somebody that was just kind of so sad. You talk about struggling with mental health and stuff through the years. And then Shannon Doherty, I just felt like always like had a tough life, you know? And yes, I did watch 90210 back in the day and loved it so much. Okay, let's get to some of the other... Let's go backwards in questions. Okay. Michaela Lashgate. I actually got quite a bit of comments about this, and it's apparently she did a review of mascara using some other kind of mascara, comparing it or something. I haven't looked into it at all, but that will definitely be something that I look into. James Charles, JoJo Siwa, girl group scandal. Okay, well that happened so long ago that I don't know that I'll probably cover it. And let's see, the Alec Baldwin case. I mean, there's so many court channels that are covering that. Emily Baker's covering that. I can't get into the heaviness of all that if you want to know the truth. TikTok shop. It says how many items they sell. Looks like James Charles, Jeffree Star, and Toddy are selling a lot. Well, I don't know, but when I was in a live stream for Toddy, she had like 5,000, 12,000 people in that live stream. And there were, no, I think she had like 5,000 or 7,000 people, and there were 12 people in the store shopping. That's not a lot, okay? I mean, that's not a lot at all. That's like if you had Disney World and there were 12 people on the grounds at Disney World shopping. I mean, that's not a lot of people. I don't know how much they sold. I've heard that those numbers are easy to fake over on, I will say that. I've heard that from people that sell TikTok stuff, not those people, not talking about those people, but I've heard from other people that sell TikTok stuff that you can fake those numbers. It's really easy to fake those numbers. I screenshot something the other day that I was going to buy and I was going to review, and I was not going to buy it from the TikTok shop. I was actually going to screenshot it and buy it somewhere else and compare the price to see, and then I was going to review it online on my review channel. I was going to review a couple things I found on the TikTok shop. But I hate the TikTok. I hardly go over there. In fact, I can probably tell you what the product was that I bought, because it was just the other day. Oh my God, these cute socks. Are these not so cute? Can we just talk about these? I mean, of course, this guy has tattoos and Birkenstock clogs. Look at these socks. I love those. I'm gonna get them from my husband because I think that that's such a hot look. And they are by Soulmate socks. Okay, so where's the product that I was gonna buy? Oh, here it is. Here it is, Crazy Daily Deals, and it is this steamer, and this guy's comparing it to another steamer. And I was like, I'm gonna buy that steamer, we need a steamer anyway, and then I'll buy it. Oh, here's the picture that people were talking about with Toddy, that's all like blurred out. I mean, I know you can't really see it on here, but girl, her chin is like, well, I know you can't see it. Whenever I show stuff, people are like, you can't see it. Her chin is like disappearing. But anyway, okay, let's get back into some of the questions and get through this video. And then you guys can let me know what you want me to talk about in the comment section below. Are you cool with any beauty gurus? I don't talk to any beauty gurus today. There's not anybody. I mean, back in the day, I talked to quite a few of them. I mean, every day, I would be texting quite a few of them. There's nobody that I talk to anymore, any beauty influencers. I can't remember the last time I talked to a beauty influencer. I very rarely ever talk to YouTubers, TikTokers, anybody. Every once in a blue moon I do. But very, very rarely do I. Usually, like, if I do, it's like drama channels, then we're running stories by each other, or just like catching up and stuff like that. And there's a couple people outside the community that I talk to, you know, every once in a while we check in with. Emily Baker, actually, she and I text quite a bit. Zachary Michael, that covers, you know, Foodie Beauty, Amberlynn Reed content. He is one of the smartest, funniest, most supportive people I've ever met in my life. Christina Randall is somebody that's very, very supportive and has been through the years. And then, yeah, and a lot of drama channels. I'm trying to think of who else would surprise you. That, oh, Dakota, the TikToker. I love him so much. He and his husband Jackson. Dakota and I have, like, become good friends through the years. I really, really like Dakota a lot. I think he's just really, like, genuinely is passionate and loves what he does, and just such a nice guy. So yeah, he's somebody too. But no, I don't talk to any beauty influencers. You and the other drama channels should collab and do intros together. Iconic. I don't know that, like, here's the thing. I haven't really met any of the drama channels in person. I think Rich Lux is the only one that I met in person, and that would just happen to be because we were both in Las Vegas at the same time. Have I met anybody else in person? I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever met another drama channel in person. No, I think he was it. Like, we've actually kind of talked about that before. Like, 10 of us getting together and, like, doing an Airbnb somewhere for, like, a weekend. If I were ever going to do it, because, listen, that's been attempted in the past, and it was not pretty. So if I was ever going to do that, there would be no cameras allowed. I'm just going to say that right now. No coverage of what we're... See, that was God talking. Say, no, do not get the drama channels together. Don't get them together. Don't do it. No, I would probably... I don't know. I mean, I think, you know... I mean, I think it would be funny. It'd be like a reunion of sorts, because we've all talked to each other. We all know each other. I mean, like, the 10 of us that all started together and stuff like that. You know, I think it'd be kind of fun. More Raw Beauty Christie. There was an update post on something yesterday with more inflow. I'm probably not going to talk anymore. I feel like I've said what I needed to say about Raw Beauty Christie and how I feel on my stance about that. I think what's so interesting is that the counterpart argument that I've always gotten on my videos, I'm not just talking about her belief system, is that people will say, like, in defense of Raw Beauty Christie or other influencers, why does it matter what she thinks or what she believes? Just let her believe. Just let her be. This has nothing. There's no reason why we even need to know these things exactly. You're exactly 100% right, and what you've just proven is it's nobody else's fucking business who I'm married to, who I have sex with, what I do with my life. It's nobody's business, right? To have other people out there trying to control my rights, my marriage, and things like that. And somebody else said it so beautifully. They said that organizations like the ones that Christie supports, those people vote. Their numbers are huge, okay? And they are supporting legislature that will take away my rights as a gay married man in this country. So yeah, it is very dangerous to me, and I do have a right to speak about those things. But that sentiment of, just let them be, why does it matter what they believe or what they think about and things like that? Then it shouldn't matter what I think about or what I believe, right? Like, just let me live. So, okay, I'm gonna pick two more things because my husband just came in very quietly. Hello? He just waved to me. Okay, let me pick one more. Dallas Cowboys cheerleader documentary on Netflix. I'm going to watch it and I'm going to cover it on my Peter Watches TV channel. So my Peter Watches TV channel is no longer just reality TV. It's all TV shows. Like, I just covered Dark Matter from Apple. Oh, the battery is flashing anyway. So it's all TV shows. So go please check it out. It's on every streaming app. I'm watching all the shows. True crime, everything is covered there. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Let me know which topics you want me to cover this week, and I will cover it in the next upcoming week. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.